Hello and welcome back to Suicide Notes with Dr. Lulu. My name is Dr. Lulu, aka the Momatrician. I'm a board certified pediatrician and I'm a mom. And I'm coming to you live from San Antonio, Texas today. And I wanted to just take a moment, first of all, to say thank you. Let me fix this. To say thank you to all those who have sent me emails and sent me questions. I'm so happy that I've gotten such a good response from the Nigerians, as a matter of fact, and those in the diaspora as well. So thank you so much. Last week, we were talking about Suicide 101, and I mentioned that this week we're going to address the roles that parents might play subconsciously or consciously in their child's suicide. And I got an email asking, Dr. Lulu, explain that. I'm so happy that you asked. And so take a moment to just think about who a parent is. A parent is the first teacher of a child, is the trusted confidant, so to say, is a cheerleader for the child, a guide for the child, loves the child, understands the child, accepts the child, right? Supports the child, nurtures the child. Now imagine if such a person who the child essentially holds in highest level of esteem betrays the child. Reminds me of Okonkwo and Ikemefuna from Things Fall Apart and how Ikemefuna held Okonkwo the highest esteem and what Okonkwo did at the end there. And so when we're talking about suicide, we're not saying that a parent is going to deliberately say, oh, I'm going to make my child kill themselves. No. However, there are some things that we do, especially as Nigerian parents. There's so many habits and behaviors that we encourage or discourage that may or may not lead our child to hopelessness and purposelessness and helplessness and feel trapped and then want to jump. And so before I tell you the examples, one of the stories I want to share is Miss Naika Venant. If you don't know yet, I'm also a TEDx speaker, and my TEDx talk was published a couple of months ago, I think, and it was for TEDx A-Leaf here in Houston, Texas. And the title is childhood trauma and what you can do to help. And the reason I talked about childhood trauma is because I didn't want to put the word suicide out there. But you know what? It's about suicide prevention. And so childhood trauma, think about it. What can traumatize a child? Who can traumatize a child? And when a child is traumatized, their trust is broken. They've been betrayed. Yes. And so you're like, Dr. Lulu, what do you mean by trauma? Well, let's take a look at it in Nigeria, for instance. A child is seen and not heard. Okay, I could take that maybe. But what about yelling? What about paddling? What about flogging, rather? While that may not, you think, cause a child to kill themselves, but what about a child who is sexually assaulted, like I was when I was 9 years old? What about that? That's childhood trauma. And if a child is sexually assaulted and they want to tell their parents about it, and the parent yells at them, we know about the Giwa girl who killed herself a few months ago, a few weeks ago. She tried to tell her mother that her father had been a sexual assaulter of her when she was young. What did her mother do? Her mother betrayed her on a Facebook Live. We all heard her mother say, be quiet, don't say that, it's not possible. Betrayal is what I'm talking about. And so you might not think that the little thing you're doing is going to cause your child, but it's called ripple effects for a reason. Betraying your child's trust. Think about it. If you're a parent, just take a moment to think about it, because I'm not here to blame anybody. And you may not be guilty, and that's fine. But I'm here to tell you that the triggers for children to kill themselves, or even adults to kill themselves, are usually within 100 square foot from where the child is sitting or standing. So that is not too far away. And you and I are generally usually in that vicinity, family members, parents. And so if you're a parent, take a moment to think today, what could you be doing inadvertently or consciously that is traumatizing your child? And we'll talk about those next week. My time is up. You know me. My name is Dr. Lulu, aka the Momatrician. My website is Suicide Notes with Dr. Lulu, Dr. Lulu at gmail.com. If you want to get a book, call Chris at 0803-786-6124. I have a podcast if you want to hear more about me and the things that I do. My podcast is called Suicide Pages with Dr. Lulu. I also have a blog called Words by Black Butterfly. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.